What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So some of us do calisthenic exercises because, let's face it, we're forced to. We either don't have access to a gym or our home gym environment just isn't really the best. Well, I don't care if you have access to an entire gym. The 10 exercises that I'm going to show you here today are ones that everyone should do. Let's start breaking them down one by one. So it should come as no surprise that any list of must-do calisthenic exercises is going to start up here at the bar. And of course, with the classic pull-up. Because this king of all upper body bodyweight exercises is there for a reason, because it works. And again, to underscore the point of this video, even if you had access to a full gym and could use a barbell for deadlifts or rows, or could use even a lat pull-down machine, you're still going to want to do pull-ups because the unique benefits of commanding your body in space in a vertical pulling environment is going to make this one worthy of being included in any back workout that you do. But we're not done just yet, because when it comes to training your biceps, being up at the bar here is one of the best places to be yet again. You see, when you do the chin-up by just simply changing the grip here to an underhand position, you're going to work the biceps very effectively. Now, one thing you want to do is make sure you're not pulling straight up and down with your body close to the bar. Introducing some of that distance away from the bar is what's going to create the almost curling effect of your body up to the bar. Remember, a barbell curl curls the bar up to you, a chin-up curls your body up to the bar. And speaking of the barbell curl, yes, you're still going to be doing those, but not at the exclusion of doing the chin-up. Remember guys, the calisthenic exercises that I'm covering here today are non-negotiable regardless of what access to a gym you have. And since we're on a roll now with the basics, let's keep it going now down here on the floor with a push-up. You see, I've talked about before finding the appropriate push-up for you. Because if you're doing just a lot of reps of a basic push-up, then no, this exercise isn't one of my favorite. But if you're finding the variation that challenges you, then this exercise becomes one that must be included in your pushing workouts. And the benefits here are many. Not only is it a closed chain pushing exercise that's unlike the bench press and dumbbell bench press, but it also provides you with that safe opportunity to push yourself to your all-out max, to go to failure without having to find, let's say, a safe resting spot for the dumbbells or a barbell resting spot that preferably isn't on your chest. When we can take our exercises to failure, guys, we can push ourselves to that next level to force new muscle growth. The push-up's going to do that again in that closed chain environment, and it makes it an irreplaceable part of any successful workout program. And that brings us to exercise number 4, which is a little bit more creative but no less critical. And we're talking about the slick floor bridge curl, because what we're doing is we're giving ourselves an opportunity to train the posterior chain in a way that we actually don't really get a chance to do with some of the other gym-based exercises. I mean, think about it. The barbell hip thrust is good at training hip extension, but it has no dynamic action at the knee, no flexion. At the same time, we have a lying hamstring curl, which I'm not a fan of because of what it can do to the low back, but regardless, it's got active knee flexion, but with no hip extension. What we get here is the opportunity to combine hip extension and knee flexion so that the hamstrings and glutes can work together in the way that they actually prefer. That makes this an exercise that isn't just a gimmick, but one that's actually irreplaceable when it comes to getting the most effective training and complete program for hitting your posterior chain. The next one's not one you're going to find at the top of the best muscle building calisthenic exercises, but it's no less important, and it's another one that's going to hit that posterior chain. We're talking about the reverse hyper, and this would be categorized, yes, as more of a corrective exercise, but when you look at its capacity to actually unlock some bigger totals on your bigger lifts, then you realize how irreplaceable it really is. So regardless of the fact that it's just a bodyweight calisthenic exercise, it still needs to be in every single person's program. It's strengthening the glutes and the low back, and again, like the hamstrings and glutes on the slick floor bridge curl, getting them to work together. If you can increase the strength of your hip extenders, you're going to have an easier time driving the bar off your chest at the bottom of a bench press and performing a properly executed deadlift. The fact is, this is simple to do and can be done anywhere. You can do it on a bench, on a box, or even your couch. Just make sure you do it. For those that love action movies more than love stories, well, you're probably not going to like this next exercise because there's not a lot of action, but there's definitely a lot of love when it comes to this exercise from me because of all the things that it can do for you. We're talking about the dead arm hang. If you'll hang with me for a minute, I'll explain why. You see, this exercise is one that allows us to test a lot of things, like I said. Number one, your mental toughness. Can you hang from the bar, especially as that pain starts to set into your forearms and hands that's building our grip strength in the process? But we not only get the benefits there, we get the opportunity to work on shoulder stability, right? The ability to maintain that packed shoulder position throughout the hang is one that's going to serve us well when we go into other exercises that apply a traction stress, like a barbell row or even a deadlift. Once again, it's one of those exercises that's hard to overlook because of how multifaceted it is, and even if you have access to, let's say, dumbbells for carries, you're still going to want to work the dead arm hang into your routine. hanging ab raises are still going to be one of the best ways to train your abs. And it doesn't have to necessarily be with a straight leg. Look, I understand that any hanging exercise for your abs is going to be one of the more difficult exercises for your abs because you have to lift the weight of your legs. But as with everything else, guys, with the difficulty comes the reward. I've actually made a whole video dedicated to the importance of hanging ab exercises when it comes to creating the best looking and most well-developed abs. You just have to make sure you pick one. Whether it's the legs straight or the knees bent, somehow, some way you need to still incorporate these into your routine, regardless of what fancy ab exercise machine you may have access to, or however many ab exercises you're doing down on the floor. And now, story time with Jeff Cavalier. All right, so this next one will benefit from a bit of a backstory. My shoulders have always been one of my more muscular or better defined muscle groups. However, I can tell you that back in the day, I was doing this next exercise, the handstand push-up, every single time I trained them, until I hurt my labrums. At that point, I kind of shied away from this, to my detriment. You see, this is one of the best exercises you can do for a lot of reasons. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best ways to actually overcome a labrum issue because of the beneficial compressive stresses that we get by doing some variation of a handstand press. Now, while some will claim that you should put plates under your hands to do this exercise for increased range of motion, that's actually not the real driver of the benefits here. Again, it's the compressive stress in the closed chain environment that's leading to the coordinated development of the delts with the all-important and often neglected scapular stabilizer muscles that makes this thing as good as it is. Now, it doesn't have to start this way. You can always do a pike push-up, getting the same closed chain benefits that you would in the push-up, and again, working your shoulders more favorably here. However, I'm imploring you to add a few repetitions at least of these the next time you train because of the unique benefits they provide. That now concludes Story Time with Jeff Cavalier. And so for exercise 9, we're back at the bar again, but this time not a pull-up bar. This is the inverted row. And we talk about the difference between horizontal pulling exercises and vertical pulling exercises and how they work different muscles more favorably. The lats and teres being a little bit more worked with the vertical pulling exercises, and the rhomboids and mid-scapular muscles and the overall thickness in the back being a little bit more effectively targeted with the horizontal pulling exercises. So the inverted row gives us that option. And even if we had access to a barbell row, you still want to do this because there's an important element here that is oftentimes missing from the row. Is if you can attack the bar on a pulling exercise with your sternum. You can get into more effective scapular retraction, and sometimes we just let the bar take us for the ride on a regular row. This is a great bodyweight complement, but just an all-around good complementary exercise and an effectively designed pulling workout. This is one you're not going to want to skip. Now, regardless whether you had access to a decline bench in either a barbell or a full rack of dumbbells, I'm still going to want you to do a dip. Because not only is this one of the better upper body bodyweight pushing exercises, but it's fully capable of helping you to drive lower chest development and also tricep and shoulder development too, because it's simply a bodyweight beast when it comes to pushing exercises. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't come with some necessary precautions. You want to make sure that you're limiting the depth of the exercise to prevent that over rounding of the shoulder in the bottom position. We also want to make sure that we're keeping our shoulders down and back, as I pointed out in many videos. The fact is, guys, if performed properly, the bodyweight dip is one of the better exercises for building your upper body, and therefore it's going to need a place in your workout program regardless if you're doing so with weights or not. Now, gym and equipment access is just simply not an option for you right now, and you're looking for the best bodyweight exercises for building muscle across your whole body. I put together a list of those as well, guys. You're going to want to watch that video. If you're looking for a complete program that requires no equipment at all, we have our ATHLEAN-X program available at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you found the video helpful, make sure you leave your comments and thumbs up below. Tell me what I'm going to cover. I'll do my best to do that in a future video. Guys, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video when we put one out. See ya.